What's up guys, Davis here. Today we'll be giving an in-depth guide on gear and abilities in Splatoon 2. The way that gear and abilities work in this game isn't anything new. Many previous games in the past have done something similar, but what a lot of people don't realize is how much gear and abilities actually affects your performance. Gear is so powerful in this game that it can make any weapon become competitively viable. Yes, even the turkey baster can stand the chance to fight amongst the highest of ranks, but getting gear with the abilities you want isn't always easy. At first, the system seems completely random on what gear and abilities you can get, but today, I will tell you everything you need to know about gear and abilities, and answer any questions you may have had.
I can already tell by editing this video that it's going to be very long, so let's get right into it.
Gear can be bought from the 3 clothing shops in the Galleria, which is towards the left of where you spawn once you're in Negapolis Square. Yield Cloth Shop is a shop run by Gelfonso that sells shirts. Shella Fresh is a shop run by Bisque that sells shoes. And Headspace is a shop run by Flo and Kramen that sells hats. You can equip one item from each of these places and wear them in the battles. But these aren't purely cosmetic, there are abilities tied to each piece of gear. Like the ability Run Speed increases movement while in Inkling form, or something like Object Shredder, which makes destroying things like bubblers and ballers a lot easier and quicker to do. But something that may not be known is that the specific gear that you have has 2 different types of abilities. There are ones that are a lot larger and appear closer to the top. These are known as main or primary abilities, and the smaller row of 3 towards the bottom are known as the sub or secondary abilities. The main abilities are predetermined once a piece of gear is bought, but the subs are unlocked over time by earning experience from matches. They are rolled randomly every time you reach the end of the gear bar. You can earn up to 3 sub slots on a piece of gear before not being able to roll anymore. The way that the abilities show up on gear reflect the way that they work in battles. The larger main abilities will have a much larger effect than the smaller sub abilities. You can test this yourself by equipping 3 main abilities of Run Speed and running laps in the shooting range. Then try the same thing with 3 sub abilities of Run Speed. You'll definitely be able to see a difference.
Do you like moving at 2 miles an hour all day long?
Come to fucking England!
Sunlight.
Swim.
Moonlight.
Dance.
Murder.
Employment.
City.
England.
When shopping for gear, you want to keep a couple of things in mind as you go from shop to shop. First, let's start with rarity. The number of stars indicates how rare the gear is. Typically, rare gear is harder to find. Also, this rarity increases the price dramatically. The number of stars will also predetermine the number of slots a certain piece of gear will have. 1 star for 1 slot, 2 for 2, and 3 for 3. Something to keep in mind is that more stars means more slots on gear. Something else to keep in mind is that the rarity of an item has some negatives to them as well. So while it may already have 3 slots ready for you to unlock, it'll cost way more than the other gear and take a lot more experience to roll a slot. So also remember, more stars means more XP needed to earn an ability. If you ever wanted to increase the amount of slots your gear can have, you can use Super Sea Snails. Once earned from Splatfest, you can talk to Merch, and you can exchange the snails for slots with him. Super Sea Snails are generally pretty rare, so make sure you use your slot additions wisely. Also, adding slots will not change the amount of EXP needed to unlock a slot. That is still only determined by the star rarity. If you didn't know, gear can also be received by ordering it. Ordering gear is a great way to buy gear with sub-slots pre-rolled, making you save the time and experience needed to get the random ability initially. But since both time and experience were saved, it's going to cost you a little more to purchase depending on the rarity of the item. To order gear, all you have to do is walk up to someone in Negapolis Square that has some fresh gear that catches your eye. Then talk to them and take a look at the current gear that they have. Press order and select which item that you want. You can order up to 3 things from people using this method. If you find someone else that has better gear, you can choose to cancel your previous order and replace it with that one. Then the next day, you'll be able to pick it up by talking to Merch, but you can only pick up 1 order each day. There is no way to get past this by changing the date on the system either. You must wait 1 day for each order. So if you order 3 things, your last order will not arrive until the 3rd day from when you ordered it originally. Also, if you can't play for a day or 2, don't worry about it. You'll still be able to open your game and expect to see the gear you ordered ready for pickup. And if there are any changes you have last minute and decide that it isn't the gear that you want anymore, you can tell him that you changed your mind once it comes in and he will trash it by the end of the day. The reason why it's towards the end of the day is because just in case you change your mind once again and wish to order it later that day. The time that the game considers the next day is midnight wherever you live. So once it hits midnight, the gear you decide not to get will be gone and will be placed with whatever was next in your order.
Whatever gear you get isn't always guaranteed though. As Merch tells you, he can only try his best and can't promise to get you exactly what you wanted. For example, if someone has gear with more slots than the stars that are originally on it, you will most likely receive the number of slots based on rarity alone. So if someone has a 1-star piece of gear and added 2 extra slots, you will probably only receive 1 slot in return when you go to pick up that item. Also, any sub-abilities found on the ordered gear will either be the exact ones that you ordered or will not be there at all.
If missing, you'll have to make do and unlock them yourself. The only thing that Merge can guarantee 100% of the time for the orders is that the main ability will be the one that you were looking for. Be sure to read whether or not he got your order correct before looking at it if you're curious. Something just occurred to me right now. I'm not sure though if it's true or not, but there may be some factors to help you get the exact order that you want. For example, the rarity and number of slots already filled could make it easier or harder for Merch to find the gear you asked for. It would make sense for the system to work this way, but I don't know if that is actually how it functions. If you do know if this is true or not, please let me know. Anyways, there's actually a second method of ordering gear. If you have a phone that can download from the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store, Nintendo released an app that can connect your Switch account to your phone. It is used for pretty much only Splatoon 2 at this point, but one of the most useful things this app offers is the ability to order gear from Annie. There's a total of 6 different pieces of gear that can be ordered from her shop, then purchased from Merch. Though the way the ordering system works is completely different, you still must pick it up from Merch. All of the gear found on the app is exclusive to there and cannot be purchased from the Galleria. The main ability of the gear will be different than the normal versions found in the shops, making it good for those who seek specific gear with specific abilities. The gear found on SplatNet 2 isn't on rotation every 24 hours like the gear in the shops. But instead, the 6 different items are being switched out one by one every 2 hours. The amount of time left to order the gear is shown in the top of the picture of the gear. So be sure if you see something you like, order it because the ability or even the gear itself will be super difficult to come across again. Sadly, you can only keep and replace up to 1 order at a time instead of 3. But the upside of this is that any gear ordered from the app can immediately be purchased once an order has been placed. That's right, there's no wait time in between each. So if you want to buy everything in the shop, you would have to do it one by one, but since there's no wait time, it'll be done fairly quickly. Gear ordered from the app will not have any additional slots or filled slots like other ordered gear. They will only have the main ability that is shown when ordering. This method of ordering also costs more than purchasing it from the shops, so be careful on your spending. There's one more thing you should know about ordering gear from Annie. If someone in the square has gear that is exclusively from the SplatNet app, you will still be able to order it off of them. But instead of it coming in like other SplatNet orders, it'll turn into a Merch order and follow the rules of Merch orders from then on. There are many alternative ways of earning gear in Splatoon 2. First is by completing the single player campaign in Octo Canyon. Once you have completed it, the full set of gear you used during your adventure will be given to you to use in online battles. The second method is from Amiibo. Scanning any Splatoon series Amiibo from the first or second game will give you a specific gear set. But scanning the amiibo with the inkling or squid will only gain you the headpiece for whatever set you were hoping to earn. Once you come back the next day, you will be able to receive the rest of the gear and any additional surprises. I'm not sure if it's just the next day though, or maybe you might need to battle and level up more in order to get the exclusive rewards, but for me, I just came back the next day and rescanned my amiibo. But if you have one of the Squid Sisters amiibo, you will only be able to scan and interact with it once you've completed the story mode. Once that is done, you can come back and scan it, but it'll follow the same pattern as before where you need to scan it the first day to receive the headpiece and come back the next day to receive the rest of your gifts. As of the time of making this video, the Pearl and Marina amiibo have been announced but not yet released, so we can only assume that they will have the same rules as the ones listed before. Another way to earn gear is by playing Salmon Run. Each month, Grisco Industries has one gear piece that can be earned by playing enough to earn the points required. The main ability earned on the Grisco gear is completely random, and whether or not it has any sub-slots filled already is completely random as well. But typically, it is more common to earn an ability without slots filled. So, the more slots you have already filled, the more uncommon that prize is. It should be noted that the pink prize capsules that you earn will always contain gear in them as well. The last known method of earning gear in Splatoon 2 is by pre-purchasing the Octo expansion. Once you pay before release date, you'll get 2 pieces of Octoling themed gear. The Octo headphones and the Octo shirt can only be accessed by pre-purchasing the $20 expansion. As of now, nothing has been confirmed, but we can assume that there will be gear in the future. Maybe in the next major update or the Octo expansion, we will be able to receive gear in alternate ways. We will just have to wait and see. One last very important thing to stress: Cuddle gear, Grizzco gear, and Amiibo gear is unorderable. Any of the gear earned using the methods discussed before, like Story Mode or Salmon Run, cannot be ordered.